Hey guys, Nuzzle here, and today we're back from a YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about Ryomen Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen versus Keiji Mogami from Mob Psycho 100. If you're going to enjoy this video, then make sure to like, subscribe. I will be covering like current manga Sukuna, because we don't really know much about his true form. If, things change a lot, I might update this video as a result, but otherwise, let's just get into it. When it comes to strength attack potency for Sukuna, he was able to utterly stomp Jugo, who is capable of creating a large mountain of iron, requiring his power to be upwards of 2.67 gigatons of TNT. He should also massively upskill from Dagon, who is capable of creating a tiny island, and while it's not really been calced out to be island level, considering how he was massively stronger than Jugo, who was already near the peak of large mountain level, you can argue that Sukuna's baseline island level. He also has Cleave, which can be adjusted based on his target's energy level to cut them within one attack. Whether this means that he can adjust them to literally anybody, no matter how powerful they are compared to him, is, a little bit up in the air, but we'll get to that when we talk about it in the conclusion. As for Mogami, meanwhile, he was able to overpower 100% mob. 100% mob, while holding back, could create a large storm equal to around 38.5 gigatons of TNT, or island level. And this then means that there is no objective way to have Sukuna stronger than Mogami. You can argue that, they're equal in power, but Mogami upscales from the feat massively, so I would argue that Mogami edges out Sukuna in terms of power. When it comes to speed, then Sukuna should massively upscale from Itadori, who is capable of throwing a punch within 0.00001 of a second, which would require his punch to be moving at over 700,000 miles per hour. When it comes to speed for Mogami, he was of course able to go toe-to-toe with 100% mob, who is able to react to and catch lightning within a thundercloud. Of course, lightning moves at 270,000 miles per hour, but considering it's within the clouds themselves, is infinitely more impressive, bumping his speed up to 26 million miles per hour, basically meaning that Mogami would have the speed advantage over Sukuna, despite the fact that Sukuna should still upscale from the feat that we brought up. As for durability for Sukuna, he was able to shrug off several attacks from Jugo with no difficulty, which means that his attack potency should scale to his durability. As for Keiji Mogami, he was able to take a direct explosion from 100% mob, which means his strength attack potency should also scale to his durability. He was also able to survive an encounter with unknown percent mob, which did weaken him a lot, but it's unclear if this should really scale to his attack potency. That said though, Mogami should edge out Sukuna in terms of durability as well. When it comes to weaponry, versatility, and abilities for Sukuna, he has statistics amplification, as he can amplify his power with cursed energy. He has energy manipulation, enhanced senses, due to being able to see cursed spirits, which are usually invisible to normal people. He has non-physical interaction, due to being able to interact with cursed spirits, which are also outright formed from thoughts and negative emotions. He has soul manipulation due to being able to hurt Mahito massively, who had only ever been shown being able to be hurt by soul attacks. Also, high-level sorcerers can also fully understand the soul too. He has regeneration negation, as he can kill spirits, and regeneration himself, as cursed spirits can regenerate over time and can survive as even just a head. Sukuna can even survive without a heart. He's a master in hand-to-hand combat. He has healing, he has limited body controls, and can create multiple eyes and mouths in his body. He has explosion manipulation, fire manipulation, due to being able to create a giant flame explosion. He has poison manipulation, he has power nullification, as a domain expansion is able to neutralize all techniques. He has homing attacks within the domain expansion, as they will always hit their target. He has fear manipulation due to his presence alone. Cleave is invisible to even spirits, which is also weapons that he has. He has resistance to soul manipulation, as he prevented Mahito from interacting with his and Yuji's soul. He has resistance to biological manipulation and heat manipulation due to surviving on the top of a heated meteor, and he has resistance to poison. As for Mogami, meanwhile, he has telekinesis, telepathy, psychic energy manipulation, and life force absorption. He has aura, he can create force fields, has levitation, has explosion manipulation. He has limited paralysis inducement via, putting people in place with his telekinesis. He has extrasensory perception, non-physical interaction, as you can see in things like invisible spirits that normal humans can't. He has regeneration negation due to being able to kill evil spirits, which can regenerate. He has curse manipulation, he has resistance to possession, mind manipulation, and curse manipulation due to all espers having some level of resistance to that. He has self-sustenance, he has regeneration, he has invisibility and incorporeality. He has possession, mind manipulation of his own, and in fact it's even more enhanced, seeing he's able to control the minds of espers who outright resist it to begin with. When he possesses someone, he gains the ability of creation, along with memory manipulation and power nullification. It's unclear if this is the case outside of the world that he creates inside their heads, but we'll get back to that. He has plant manipulation, he has limited soul manipulation, and has resistance to soul manipulation, and exorcism, as he's absorbed several spirits which can take the hit for him. And he also has shape-shifting. He can create large sizes and size manipulation due to how many evil spirits are inside of him. He has fusionism due to being able to fuse in with evil spirits, and has energy projection. So overall, I'd say that in terms of who has the greater abilities, it is very up in the air. I would argue that it goes to Mogami, but when it comes to weaponry and versatility, I think it's clear that it goes to Sukuna. When it comes to weaknesses for Sukuna, he will risk his life to save Megumi as part of his master plan that we all don't know yet, but considering how he won't even really be in the fight, he doesn't really have anything besides that. Meanwhile, for Mogami, he doesn't really have any notable weaknesses, so I guess by technicality, Sukuna has more weaknesses than Mogami, but both of them really don't have any. So overall, who wins the fight? We've gathered from this that Mogami is more powerful, faster, more durable, and has better abilities, meanwhile Sukuna is more versatile and has better weaponry. So who wins the fight? This is incredibly close, despite the fact of what this chart I've just shown you here says. It is an incredibly close fight because every advantage that Mogami has over Sukuna is definitely not a close one. It's definitely not a landslide, besides maybe the speed, if you look at that. Now, it is dependent on a lot of factors depending on interpretation. For example, would Mogami be able to see Cleave? Considering the fact that Mogami can see invisible things and Cleave is invisible, you would think so, but at the same time Cleave is even invisible to other invisible beings. So you could argue that Mogami just wouldn't be able to see it. That said, would Mogami be able to mind control Sukuna? It is a bit vague, considering the fact that while Sukuna has shown resistance to soul and mind manipulation, Mogami's has been able to possess people who outright resist it as well. The only difference is Mogami's possessed people who are far weaker than him, and he's never come across someone as powerful as Sukuna, who's an evil spirit, that is. That also comes into question if Mogami could just fuse Sukuna into him, because again, I think he would have to weaken him down a bit first, else Sukuna would just not be okay with that. It is a bit if Sukuna can catch Mogami in a domain expansion, it could be GG, especially considering the fact that Cleave would be able to hit Mogami without Mogami being able to do anything, despite the fact that Mogami is faster. That said, however, how the power nullification works is neutralizing all techniques. The thing is, Mogami doesn't really have any techniques. He's just all power and abilities. If you imply that techniques mean abilities and power, then Mogami's screwed and Sukuna just wins that way. But there's also then the fact that could Cleave kill Mogami, seeing that Mogami is more powerful than Sukuna? I'm willing to say that there is a limit to how powerful Cleave can be, especially considering the fact that if it was that simple, then Sukuna would have killed Gojo as soon as he met him. Yeah, Sukuna is way weaker than he was later on in the series, but that's the thing, it's a power thing. If someone is way more powerful than Sukuna, would Cleave be able to kill them? And that's the main question. Seeing that Gojo is far superior to Sukuna at this point, I think it's clear that Cleave wouldn't be able to kill Mogami. That said, though, the attack potency and durability are so close that it'd still be able to damage him at least, don't get me wrong. There's also, Sukuna's poison manipulation, which could come in handy. Mogami's life force absorption is definitely a big factor as well. His ability to put people to sleep probably wouldn't work on Sukuna due to being an evil spirit. So overall, who's more likely to win? Also, if you give Mogami his abilities that he's shown inside the mental world, then I think he would take it, especially considering how he's faster. He could take away Sukuna's powers and wipe his memory, although considering the fact that Sukuna has resisted possession, things like that, you could argue he would be able to do that, but memory manipulation is a bit different from mind and, possession. The best win condition for Mogami is just to use his superior speed, his abilities that would specifically work on Sukuna, and his superior strength to take him down. Sukuna's win condition is using, domain expansion and basically just negating Mogami's powers, which again, is debatable if that can even happen. Personally, if you don't give Mogami his abilities that he has in the cursed world or the world that he created, then it is an incredibly hard to determine fight. Especially considering that Mogami's easiest way of winning is no longer available. Although if you say that Mogami could still possess Sukuna, then he would get access to these abilities. If you don't think he'd be able to possess Sukuna, and you don't think he has these abilities in the real world, then it really comes down to if Mogami could finish off Sukuna before Sukuna uses the, domain expansion. Which, if you think would work on Mogami, then I think Sukuna would win. While, Mogami does take the stat advantage, it's not by an insane amount, and Sukuna would definitely be able to take attacks from Mogami. And while, Mogami's faster, it's barely 10 times as fast. So I'd imagine that Sukuna would eventually be able to get off a domain expansion. Overall, I do think that Mogami is more likely to win, but you could definitely make arguments for Sukuna doing so as well. So I apologise for the unclear ending, but it is a very debatable matchup, and I'll see you next time.